Now, obviously, I had a look through the speaker profiles and then saw, obviously, Omri was on before me and inspirational speaker, travelled the world, and then I thought, okay, little old me after that. I can cope. So today, what I'm looking to cover is a bit of, to be honest, it's a bit of career advice. I've been in tech nearly 20 years. I've worked for lots of different companies. I enjoy the technical side, but I suppose more recently been doing a lot more of the management side of things. And actually what I find really exciting is developing and coaching young and old staff and making sure I get the absolute best out of everybody I can possibly get. So at the moment, I'm working over in Liverpool, been there just over a year. Started as a consultant to do a transformation. Hopefully a few of you have heard the football pools. They've been going 96 years, but they're going through somewhat a digital transformation. So we're going from people still posting in a coupon every week with some selections of which matches they think is going to be score draws, through to a modern day fun and leisure sort of gambling company. So what I'll do today is, like I say, a little bit of advice over the years, but what I'd like is some questions right the way through as well. So I'm going to touch upon some of the things I love, some of the bits I hate, a little bit about me, probably a bit too much about me as far as all of you are concerned, but I do enjoy talking about myself. And then just a top 10 tips of sort of a career in tech, how to get into it, how to advance yourself. Some of these tips will be, known to everybody. Some will hopefully help. Even if you can just take a couple of little tips away, I'd be made up. And then how to keep in touch. So the things I love, I do love tech, but I love people more, and I love the communication, connecting with people, learning. Everybody should be learning on almost a daily basis. If you're not, something's wrong. This is not the career for you. Mentoring and coaching. I do a lot of mentoring. I do a lot of coaching with different organizations. And I'll talk a bit through that. I love martial arts as well. Questions, volunteer, and very, very long PowerPoint lists is also a big favorite of mine. So the things I hate is I don't like cheese. Now, please, I know everybody get cheese? Really? Yes. Hate it. Can't stand it. I get cheese-free pizzas, and before you ask, the barbecue sauce holds the contents together quite nicely. So don't worry about that. Laziness and people that don't want to listen, people that just genuinely don't want to learn. I can't comprehend those types of people. I think, if you're going to work in technology, you really do need to learn on a daily basis. Keyboards without green backlights, it's just a no. And also wonderful, stock photos of what hackers really look like in the real world. I'm sure a few of you have used these in presentations that you've done. So a little bit about me. And I did say a little bit about me. So this is one of my first days of work at Chester Zoo. So I was there for about 14 years. So saw lots of different animals. I've got lots of stories. I've got some health and safety things that I won't put on video, but if you want to come and see me later, I can happily talk about. Firstly, I got an E at GCSE IT. So the idea of this is, or me telling you this, is to say that, look, while school is important, it really isn't the be all and end all. I then managed to talk my way into college, a bit of early social engineering. And then I was asked to leave, after about 6 months, and I managed to, get myself an apprenticeship. Luckily, otherwise it probably would have gone down a different path. And then I just worked my arse off, really. I mean, to be honest, I think everybody that works in tech, or anybody that has a good career in tech tends to find that they're doing something absolutely every day. They're pushing themselves. They're always learning new things. And without that, really, you're probably in the wrong game. I obviously then overcompensated for the lack of education. So I then went and became a chartered fellow with the BCS, and got my CISP as well. And again, I'm a big fan of certification for the right reasons. So don't do it to overcompensate and just to put a label on yourself. Do it because you feel like you need to better yourself, give yourself a challenge, a goal. They're the complete right reasons. Oh, by the way, that photo, I appreciate it looks like it was only last week, but it wasn't, honestly. It was quite some time ago. So again, just there's me and a lemur. So as you can imagine, pretty cool. That was at the zoo. So I sort of worked my way up from first line support up to head of IT at the zoo. And then I went over to Wrexham and became a head of IT at Moneypenny. Then I set up by myself, a company called IT Transformed. And then I started at the football pools as the CTO on an interim basis as part of my consultancy. And then actually ended up, they talked me into joining the exec board. So I've been there for about 18 months now. A little bit more, just to come back to the bits I did before. So I chair the BCS Chester and North Wales branch. So it's a really active group. We do talks every month. We regularly send out comms. If anybody wants to join or even come along, they're completely free. You don't have to be a member of the BCS to come along. Free food, free drink, great speakers, really good topics. Just to say free food again, just thought I'd reiterate that. And then I also, I do some, speaking and mentoring. I also look after the website and a number of other things for Cyber Girls First. What we do is we focus on, age 14 to 18, girls who are looking at getting into technology, who sort of get elbowed out by the boys that get in their way. We've still got a big diversity problem in IT. Still need to address it. So recently I was very lucky to be able to go to number 10 and talk about it. So that was one of my photos I try and wheel out. And I've also been doing Safe and Secure with ISC Squared for quite some time as well, probably about 4 years, even before all the Garfield stuff came along, if anybody else is a Safe and Secure volunteer. So now on to the actual, the bit that's really, well, hopefully important, but you'll be the judges of that. So quite a lot of these are noddy stuff that everybody kind of knows, but it's nice to have a bit of a refresher every once in a while. It's good to be able to just see it on paper. I'm sure the slides will be available as well. But really it's about sort of the things that I've gleaned over the years that have actually been quite important to me. So I'll start rattling through them. And look, this is the first one actually is really quite important. Every single company is a technology company these days. Doesn't matter if you're in manufacturing, if you're in catering, building, marketing, obviously gaming, education, everywhere uses technology. So if you can be an intrinsic part of that technology, then you've got a career for life. Now, technology moves and adapts, and being able to keep up with that is probably the most important part of the role. But the idea is that actually, as a person that is feeding in from all levels, making sure that technology is a part of every business, it means that you'll be in a job for life. So again, just to reiterate, a lot of these will be pretty simple things for most people, but be eager to learn new things. Bounce ideas off people. Don't be scared to go and talk to people, and make sure that they know that they can come to you and do the same. It's really important that obviously this industry is so helpful. And actually, if you just go and ask pretty much anyone, even rivals of the company that you're working for, you'll probably find that they'll come back to you and they'll actually be really quite nice, receptive. And, recently started talking to some other people in the gambling arena who actually I thought they're not going to bother speaking to me. I'm a rival. And actually they just opened up, started chat. We had a really big open and frank conversation. We shared a load of the same problems. And actually it was really quite important for the both of us. And then, again, continuous learning. I was trying to think of that old adage of a shark and it's standing still, but I couldn't remember it. So, and it was 1:30 when I finished these slides last night. So also couldn't be bothered looking them up, but you know what I mean. So quite a lot of us actually forget that you and your brain is the asset. So people don't employ you to go and do the same thing as everybody else. Actually, the most important part of you is your brain and the way you think, and that's why you're in that role. So again, people are starting to get worried about automation taking over jobs and things like that. Okay, some industries will be hurt more than others, but actually, if you can find a way of automating something, that means that then you're free to go and think about something else to add value to. So don't forget that your brain is the part that adds the value. And diversity is what builds teams, great teams. If you've got a room of 10 people in a team who have got the same past, diversity is probably the biggest differentiator you can throw into that mix. Bring somebody else in, bring somebody else that challenges you, that makes sure they don't just go along with everything you say. You want people to actually challenge you. It means you get the absolute best ideas. Don't be scared about diversity in every team. So, look, you guys know this already. I'm looking around, lots of people in the room that I know are industry veterans. You tinker every day, you go and find resources, but just for the people that are looking at this as a new career or just starting out, go and have a look, at AWS, DO. There's tons of free VMs that you can go and play with. Just go and have a play, a tinker, experiment, there's plenty of words there, but just go and have a play. It's by far the best way. So, this is one of the things that I get quite frustrated by when I'm working with teams, is that they don't become self-sufficient. You can quite easily spoon feed people with all of the answers, but actually, do you know what? They're not the first person to ever have this problem. Everybody else, this problem would have been somewhere else, and just being able to use a search engine efficiently is probably one of the biggest things that you can change. Because then people, give a man a fish, he's hungry for he's fed for a day. Teach him how to use a search engine, he can Google stuff. That didn't work, did it? But you know what I mean. So this one is particularly pertinent in the sort of the cybersec arena as well, is that actually a lot of people don't like people. They want to be able to sit in a corner, be left alone. Look, I even seen somebody get a nudge there. Not like people, no. I mean, either way, if you slip into that typical techie type of person where nobody wants to come and speak to you, you're not approachable, you walk over to the infrastructure guys and ask them for something, they just grunt and you walk away. It's not going to help anybody. So actually, you've got to remember first and foremost that relationships are exactly why you're there, and that's why everybody else is there. Everybody comes to work to do a job. But if you can actually communicate with these people effectively and learn to ask different types of questions and lead people where you need them to go, you can find actually that, sorry, go on. Okay, so yeah, the first option was probably the one to go down, but actually, do you know what? Go and sit and have a coffee with them. Take them out for a coffee. Get them out of their safe area. Arrange something where you can go and have a chat. Explain what you would like them to do. I think is the best success that I've had before. And also try and make them understand on the impact of what they're doing. And actually, none of this is difficult stuff. It's again, I suppose it's just about being able to have that type of relationship where you can be completely honest with them. But the best results I've found is like I say, taking them out for something to eat or taking them out for a coffee. Pick somewhere where you can go and sort of take yourself away from everybody else. Because the last thing you need to do is to try and have that conversation in front of other people in your team. Because again, that will just, especially if they're a senior manager as well, I'm assuming this senior manager will just go to the person that they want and go and tell them they need to go and do it now, and then they just need to go and do it. Yeah, look, making them understand the impact of it, which is difficult. But for me, it's take them out for a coffee, make them understand the impact, tell them actually that other person is going to work on other things, and if you stop them from doing that, they're going to have a detrimental impact on some of the other bits as well. There's no magic solution. I suppose it's just about building up that communication and trying to get them to see why they're being disruptive. Yeah, no magical solution, unfortunately. But again, I suppose coming back to the fact that if you go and network, like days like today is great because you can network with people who are like-minded, and you can go and have a talk with people, and actually that should make most people feel pretty comfortable. But actually go and network with people that are outside of your peer group as well. So, being a CTO, I go to a lot of sort of CIO, CTO events, but actually I quite enjoy going to sort of business events as well. So marketing, finance. So actually it gives me more experience of being able to network with people who aren't necessarily within my direct peer group. So I think I've covered the Star Wars, things here. And so who sort of went through and read this in their head as Yoda? All right. Good. Quite a few. Excellent. I have been practicing my Yoda voice. However, I decided that it wasn't good enough to be able to especially now it's on camera as well. So, but at the end of the day, yeah, you don't learn anything from success. It's fairly basic. You learn that you already know how to do it. So when you fail, just, don't give up. Go grab some resources, go Google it, and go make sure actually that you go and understand the steps and the troubleshooting steps that you took to be able to go and actually fix it. And again, that bottom point there, I can't stress enough. The fact that actually you need to be willing to be able to hold up your hands when you fail. As a manager that's looked and managed teams, I can't stress how important that is. So somebody coming to me and going, look, I've really stuffed up here. I need your help. Holding your hands up and going, yeah, I need somebody to help me. I need to pull something out the bag. I'm not going to hit the deadlines. Just go and talk to people. And again, just to reiterate, always comes back to the fact that communication with all your peers is so, so important. Question everything. So I've been annoying my family, my parents for quite some time, probably since I could talk, that I literally questioned everything. But I suppose this comes back to more the fact that those steps that you take in your head is that, if you do the same thing every day, why are you doing the same thing every day in the same way? Go find out how to automate it. Go and free up your time to be able to do something more efficient. You add value because you're doing something different, because you're thinking differently. So go and find a way of being able to go and do it differently. Automate it. And then whilst you're doing it, have a think about how somebody else, like an attacker, could do it differently as well. So actually it's really quite important to be able to take your head out of how you're doing it and how you've been doing it for quite some time, and actually be able to just take a step back. Go out of work for half a day, go to a coffee shop, go and listen to some conversations, just remove yourself from there and put yourself under a bit of sort of mental stress and go and have a think about how other people can do it. Because that's generally where I find I come up with my best ideas. Either that or the shower, but either way. So I suppose just to cover a few of the basics off. So I've listed a bit of a list there. Like I say, these slides will be available, but apprenticeships, it's how I started. I love apprenticeships. There are, as we speak, there are 4 or 5 cybersecurity apprenticeships in Liverpool. So on that website, you can search for them, have a look. Lots of people are hiring, cybersecurity, system admins, all those sorts of careers, feeder careers into these pathways. Education, again, quite a lot of people will come back to education if they don't go there initially, but, again, great pathways into it. Volunteering, something that's close to me. I love doing volunteering. I take holidays off work to be able to go and do it because I find it's really important. It also helps me have a bit of a mental break and stops me getting sort of burnout, which again is really important to make sure that you look after yourself as well. Although saying that, 2 years ago, I was doing triathlons, running all the time. I started at my new place. I've literally not done an ounce of fitness, put on about 4 stone nearly. So, preacher and all that. But, I've concentrated obviously on my volunteering more than my personal fitness, but I'll get it back eventually. As soon as the canteen stop doing subsidized bacon sandwiches in the morning. So, work experience. So actually, there are loads of people in this industry that will be happy to open the doors and let you go in and do work experience. So actually, when I started my own company, I went and gave somebody out there a call. I won't mention who it is, but I went and gave them a call and I just said, look, I've not done hands-on security for a couple of years. Do you mind if I rock up? The doors were open, spent a week with them, absolutely loved it. Terrified me how much I'd lost just in a couple of years. Actually, obviously things move on very quickly and being in the management scope, tend not to pick it up as quickly, but really enjoyed it. Hopefully I was helpful and not a pain in his ass. But again, if you need experience, this is such a good community. Go pop it on LinkedIn, go and put it on any of the forums. People will find you experience. As long as you're ready and willing, people will find it. Industry events like this, blogs. So actually, I mentioned quite a few blogs there, but there's a few of my personal favorites there. Holly's actually over there as well, so she got a shout out. Podcasts, obviously, I had to mention our hosts, Jenny there from Human Factor, Smashing Sec and Defensive Sec as well. There's a couple of really good bug bounties. Go and take a look at them. Go sign up. Actually, even if you're not going and actively doing them, there's great forums around it as well, and actually lots of people talk on there, which I suppose brings us to that bottom one as well. So just to reiterate, this industry is absolutely incredible, and actually everybody is super helpful, bar the caveat, obviously, not everybody, but you'll find that some are slightly more antisocial than others. There's a antisocial engineer out there. That was one for him, but he hasn't joined us. Hey ho. But you'll find that actually the first thing to do is go find a mentor. Doesn't matter where stage you are in your career, go find a mentor. It's actually really important. I've got 3 or 4 mentors at the moment who guide me when I need help. One of them is more of like a coach, which I go and have a day with every month. But actually it's really important to go find a mentor. And once you've got one, go find another and another. And then once you're at that stage, go and be one. Because it's actually really important. You find who in this room, just by show of hands, has got a mentor? Okay. And who wants to find a mentor? Okay. That should be everybody. Honestly, you can never have too many mentors. So just go find one. Who's willing to be a mentor? I've actually got a letter on the next one. But yeah, so just say who is actually willing to be a mentor? Right. There's a load of people there. If you're looking to find one, look at whose hands are up and go and speak to them. Honestly, it's the best thing you'll do. Go find some mentors and then be one. Because literally anybody can learn something from somebody else. So just go and do it already. Okay. So how I found my mentors was on Twitter and LinkedIn. All I did was I just appealed to their ego. Right. So that's literally all I needed to do. I said, excuse me, Mr. Fantastic Security Person. I've been following your career for quite some time, and I would love to have a coffee with you and discuss it at some time. You'd be amazed how many people just go, oh, yeah, no, I'd absolutely love it. Because they just feel like, yeah, actually, most people are in a position where they're willing to be able to give advice. You know, the main key points are play to their ego, right? Be flexible. So say I can do it over Skype, WhatsApp, whatever works, because I know your time is really important, you know. Understand what you're looking for out of a mentor, because actually if you can give them some focus, it'll be a lot easier for them to be able to give you advice, because they generally only dip in and out of conversations, but you will find it genuinely important to be able to just say, I'm looking for somebody to get to the next stage of my career. I'm looking for somebody to be able to, help me get into management. Looking for somebody who can, guide me to what qualifications I need. Again, keep it targeted, and you'll find you'll get a lot more out of it. And again, don't just pigeonhole yourself. I've been to CFOs. I've been to CEOs. One of my mentors at the moment is the CEO of one of the largest sort of manufacturing companies. Just because I'd seen him at industry events, he talked, and actually it doesn't matter who they are. You know, it matters what they've done, and that's what you're asking them for. So again, make sure you play to their ego. So, dear awesome security person, I've followed your posts and articles with interest, and I wonder if you could help. Looking to try and do something, please help me out. And you'd be amazed how many people will respond. Okay? Any final questions? Does anybody want to get pickies before I go on? Okay. You can get a quick picky. Now, if anybody sends me one of these on LinkedIn later, more than happy to. All right. Yeah, could do. A response app. Yeah. No, I'm okay, thanks. Yeah. Okay. Any final questions? Well, hopefully you don't now. Yep. Do you know what? You're never going to be able to do that. I mean, I'm only laughing because, you know, if I'd been the 18-year-old me, and I'd probably just watched this, I probably wouldn't have listened to most of it. But you know what? It only takes one or two little things. I think probably the best advice I could give to those is that become their mentor whether they want to or not. So what I've found that actually is that, you know, caveat the sentence with, I know you might not want to hear this, but actually quite a lot of the time, even though they may not want the advice, sometimes if you can give a little bit of advice without being forceful with it, it'll sink in. So I think, the main thing is just make sure they know that you're there if you ever need them, and that they can trust you to come and talk. And I think that, they will come and talk to you eventually if they need it. But yeah, informal bits of steering, I tend to find, and certainly things like in meetings where you can see that they're being either pushed out or they're not being included, they're not being asked for opinions. Make sure you ask them for opinions. Even just stopping the meeting and go, so what do you guys think? It's actually, it goes a long way. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much.